Well, it's been an ongoing debate with investors for quite a while, and with the new reporting segments, this provides more visibility into what a broken up company could look like. I do think that Microsoft has a lot of great assets, but they've lacked someone like a Victor Emmanuel of Italy to kind of bring all the disparate kingdoms together. So the lack of consistent leadership and messaging, really from the top, has been a real headwind, and breaking up the company from financials perspective makes sense, but in terms of the technology assets and how they could work together, there's a lot of opportunity that's been left on the table.
Well, it's interesting because the first question that Alan Mulally apparently got on the Ford call this morning was about whether he had heard from or had been speaking to Microsoft about leaving to take the position there. So is this something that could potentially be fixed, do you think, Ed, by changing management at the top, or is it just that these, as you say, these separate businesses are perhaps too unwieldy?
Well, culture is pretty deeply embedded, so leadership is always important to drive the direction of the business in the right way. I think what there has not been is a real coordination among the different operating segments to really leverage the cross synergies across the different businesses. Now, they do have different types of markets, a lot of different end users. It is quite unwieldy, but Microsoft isn't the only company in history that's had a lot of different operating units. Yep. I think it just has needed a skillful way to orchestrate all of these and deliver really consistent results.
Hey, Brent, we were just looking at some video of Ballmer there, and some have made the point that to spin off an Xbox does leave some of these units exposed to existential threats. But the knock on Ballmer for a long time is that he hasn't let the various units fend for their supper, right? He hasn't let them compete for survival within the company. Is that fair?
I think they've been fighting. I still look at Microsoft. The Xbox business is just really not relevant to investors in the stock. 60% of the revenue is enterprise. And I think that's why you've seen activists and long-onlys in the stock, because they see the value in the enterprise business. They really don't see the value in the Xbox business. So, yes, I agree with Jim. If you want to break off one piece of the business, break off the Xbox business. But you go back to the recurring revenue story here. I think that's the real highlight.